Welcome back once again, fellow commanders. This is Titus Valspar. Um, I've been thinking a little bit since last week what I wanted to cover. Kind of running out of a couple of ideas. If there's anybody watching who has some comments that they would like to leave, those would be much appreciated. As I would like to continue to offer my help and services here to each and every one of you. It's a little hard to do that if I'm the one coming up with the ideas. But as far as what I had thought of for today's video, I wanted to focus a little bit more on the Rangers, why they have such an importance. So if you've seen in the past videos that I have, I tend to go with an all Ranger front practically. I mean, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 tarmacs, which are full of Rangers, which gives me 90 Rangers that I take into battle, and that's equipped with my command and control vehicle. My tarmacs are all due for upgrades to the point where they can all support 16 troops, but that's going to be quite the expensive upgrade. It's going to take a while for me to get them all there to that capacity. So it'll come. It'll just take a little bit longer than some of the other upgrades that I've had to do in the past. But the Rangers seem to be a fairly common offensive unit. I like to think it's mainly because they are, it allows your tarmacs to use their full capacity, as they only take up one unit. As it says down here in the description, they're all-purpose. They're good for really anything and everything that you want it to do, and they are comprised of the riflemen, the rockets, and the medics, or the RPG and the medics. I've found that in larger numbers, they don't tend to be as weak against enemy infantry. Something that I've run into in alliance warfare is that they are more affected by defending tomahawks than they are by the other troops. It says that they're strong against spider drones, but when you get them up to a certain level, like I have mine, level 15, they really get to the point where they're strong against anything that they're pitted up against. So this is a little bit of a harder hitting force as they are leveled up. So I currently have one other attack to perform here in my alliance warfare. So I figured I'd just kind of go through their basic strategy. Again, with the Rangers, the best thing is to have the strength in numbers. So I'm still going to control my command and control vehicle as well, but I'll try and focus in on the importance of the Rangers being used. So we'll jump over here into the globe and see what happens. So looks like we're about halfway through the war. My base is still standing. There was an attack that was performed on it. I won't go ahead and show you the replay. It was kind of pitiful. There was a level 25 commander that tried to take on my base here. So I'm going to pause for a moment as I single out a base that's on my level and still has the 3 flags to take out. So it looks like we're going to target this fellow down here, Cello, whatever his name is. Looks like there's been an attack that's been made on his base by one of my allies that went unsuccessfully. I personally like to, when I can, if somebody else has taken a crack at a base, to look over the replay just briefly. It'll give me an idea of what's in his dome defenses, what it was that made the attack by the Allied force not as eventful. So We'll just briefly take a look at the replay before making my attempt, better said. Okay. So I'm guessing that the problem here was the level of his base, as you'll be able to see over here. My ally was a level 35, trying to take on this level 40. Using a ranger front, his tanks were quickly attacked by the spider drones. You can see over here that the reinforcements that are being called in are rangers, so that's not a huge, or commandos, better said, not a huge concern of mine. This really should be a relatively simple battle. Looks like he did okay. He just didn't have the strength and numbers that he needed in the end to really take care of everything. So we'll speed up through the remainder of this. And so here's another thing that I'm going to point out here. Sneaks is a good commander, but if he happens to look at this, maybe he can have some benefit from it. First off, the use of attack drones is not okay. It's a good striking unit, but when used properly, the attack drones are not good when they are mixed with other different types of units. If you want to try air attacks, go with all air attacks. That means if you only are able to support the attack drones, only bring the attack drones. If you have attack drones and Apaches, then mix the two to your own discretion. But other than that, I would recommend you to stick with all ground forces. He could have used, instead of having those 12 attack drones there, he could have had an additional 24 rangers, which would have made a huge difference in this attack. He may have even been able to take out a flag there. So let's go ahead and see what type of a difference we can make with a primarily ranger force. So we'll go ahead and open this up. We've already kind of seen what we'll be pitted up against. So Hellfire missile should be able to take out everything right here in this location. My orbital strike should be able to go up and clean everything else up. This really should be some fairly simple child's play. So let's go have some fun with this. So we'll go ahead and initially bring the Hellfire in here as planned. As I thought, cleaned up everything very, very nicely. So we'll go ahead and we'll bring my orbital strike in here, clean up the remainder of these towers, and come over here for some additional damage. It looks like I can get the best revenue out of the other orbital strike here. And then we'll go ahead and we'll use my A10 here to clean these up. Now typically in Alliance Warfare, I like to keep at least one A10 strike just in case they do have Tomahawks coming in. In this case I know that they don't, but I'll still hold on to some of these command points. Something nice to do with the Rangers is bring them in right wherever the spider drones are, because you'll see that they take them out very easily. The spider drones are rendered practically useless. So we'll go ahead and we'll bring in another Hellfire here. And at this point it's really just my Rangers are going to come in, sweep around, and kind of destroy everything. So as you can see, with a higher Ranger force, the firepower that's available is just immense. Or maybe I should say it's better distributed than it is with an unbalanced force. So as we're wrapping up here, really relatively easy battle taking place there. Only lost 23 troops. I would have loved to have seen this guy in a quick match, just because it would have been an easy 3-star grab with resources. So my alliance is very well ahead in this war. Looks like we're doing pretty good. There's still 12 hours left. My allies still have 48 different attacks that they can make. So there's quite a few people that can still attack to get us over the 108 flag threshold, get us that extra 30% loot. And the remainder of the bases that I was looking over, they're not very high level, so this should be relatively easy to obtain by those members of my alliance. So I guess what I'll do at this point is I'll kind of go on down the line in the coming weeks and break down one troop at a time, unless I get requests for something else, something that you'd like to see. Again, I'm not perfect at this. There are units that I do not like working with whatsoever. But if you want to see it, I'll go ahead and take a crack at it and give you my honest opinion about it, what should be done. So, got some work to do around here. It's getting kind of late where I am. I'm about to call it a night, but didn't want to go without giving you an opportunity to learn a little bit more about Rangers and their effectiveness on the battlefield. So, without keeping you from your endeavors any longer, I'll go ahead and sign off. Leave you to enjoy the rest of your day, the rest of your evening, however it may be, and get back out there and help reclaim the world from the evil forces of the GRA. So, once again, this is Titus Valspar signing off. Have a great day.